So today I want to talk to you guys about the Fujifilm 10 to 24 f4 OIS lens. It's a pretty great lens. I picked it up about a month ago and I've done a couple shoots with it. I've done a few things with it so far. So I just wanted to make a quick video about it. So let's just get right into it. This lens retails for $9.99 on B&H new. I got mine for $700 used on eBay, which I think is a pretty great price for this lens. It's super high build quality. It extends internally versus externally, so it doesn't look like one of those like sort of dorky zoom lenses that stick way out. They kind of look funny. So this one doesn't do that, thankfully. It's kind of comically wide at 10 millimeters. Even on Fujifilm's APS-C sized sensor, it's almost like kind of funny how wide it is at 10 millimeters, but it's a really unique look. I think it looks really interesting at 10. I usually don't use it at 10 millimeters, but I definitely think it's interesting. And I think it's weather resistant to some extent. I don't think it's waterproof, but it's weather resistant. I would kind of put this lens into one of two categories depending on the type of shooting that you do. The first category is sort of just like the adventurer, amateur sort of person who just likes to have an all-around versatile lens. And then the second category that I would put this in is the more professional wide-angle lens. So with that being said, I'm gonna get into some of the pros and the cons of this lens. So the first pro is, again, that it has OIS. I think that's the biggest reason that I bought this lens, is because I needed a lens with OIS for the Fujifilm X-T3. That is sort of my main style of shooting, handheld. So OIS is really important to have. I had the kit lens, the 18 to 55, that had OIS, but I didn't really love it. I thought it was a little too sharp and it just looked a little cheap to me. So this lens has OIS, that's a great pro. And the second pro is that it's a really wide lens, so it's good for video, and you can get super close to your subject to still get some sort of a shallow depth of field. And next, it has a really high build quality. This is nothing new for Fujifilm lenses. It's a great all-rounder to take wherever and do whatever with, so that sort of falls into the amateur adventurer kind of category. It's a great all-rounder. It's a good lens. I mean, it kind of lives on my camera at this point, which is why I'm kind of holding it and displaying it this way, because it really does sort of live on the camera at this point. So it solves the Fujifilm X-T3's lack of IBIS, which is a complaint that myself and I think a lot of people have. A lot of people probably expected the X-T3 to have IBIS, but it doesn't. So this lens kind of solves that problem, at least in a sense of having OIS. I don't think anything beats internal stabilization though, but it's sort of a workaround for that problem. And then finally, it has super fast continuous autofocus, and single autofocus for that matter. So it's really great. It's a really great autofocus lens, and that's really where this camera shines, is in terms of autofocus anyway. So you definitely want something that is able to keep up with the camera in a sense. So some of the cons of this lens. There aren't a lot. I mean, I really love this lens and I think it's really great. I would say the biggest con for me is the fact that it's an f4 lens. So it's not gonna be great in low light and you're not gonna get too shallow depth of field, especially being that this camera is an APS-C sized camera. So, you know, things like weddings and things like the reception specifically, it will be kind of difficult to film if I'm not using a light and sort of emphasizing and getting light on the subjects in the wedding reception specifically. But if you're outdoors, it's not going to be too big of a problem, especially since it's such a wide lens. I think a lot of times that f4 is going to be more than enough for you. It's kind of an expensive lens, retailing at $999 on B&H. I got mine used for $700. I usually get most things like this used. I don't mind searching and getting things used online. I definitely think people should do that more, so consider that. And another con is that there is a 16 to 80 f4 Fujifilm lens with OIS. You know, the next time around, I would probably have picked that one up instead. But this lens is a really good dedicated wide. It's very sharp, it's very versatile, it's very compact, but it also makes the camera look at like a little more professional in a way. I don't know if that's pretentious or not to say, but the fact of the matter is that this is a small camera, so, you know, higher end clients might be a little confused as to why you're using such a small camera. So I think adding a lens like this sort of adds a certain sense of professionalism to it. And the final con that I think this lens has is that it's super sharp. That's kind of contradictory to what you'd want out of a wide lens, but for me, I make a lot of wedding videos and commercials and stuff like that. So I don't like to have an overly sharp lens. I like a more soft look a lot of times. So I think that could be solved with like a 1/8 Pro Mist filter from like Tiffin or something like that. So I definitely think I'm gonna pick one of those up. And if you want me to make a review about it, let me know in the comments down below. If you'd be interested in seeing what a Pro Mist filter looks like on a lens like this. So again, let me know what you think. But overall, this is a really, really great lens. I'm happy that I bought it. I only have the 35mm f2 lens for the Fuji, other than some vintage lenses, and I really needed something that had stabilization. And I looked around a little bit. The 16 to 80 is a little too expensive for me. I think it's over $1,000. And I couldn't really justify spending that much on a single lens when I don't even use this camera nearly as much as like the Blackmagic, which is what's filming me right now. You know, that's really my analysis, my thoughts on this lens. This isn't a hardcore review, but it's just sort of my thoughts after doing a couple shoots with it and sort of, you know, going back and thinking like, what did I encounter? What were my problems with this lens, or what did I like or didn't like about it? So I hope that this video gives you a little insight and helps you make a better purchase if you are considering this lens. If you are considering this lens, let me know down below. Do you have it? Are you thinking about buying it? Let me know about your experience with it, and let me know maybe what other lenses you might want me to check out. I am considering getting the 55 to 210 Fujifilm lens. It looks like a really great one, and the 50mm f2. I don't think I would get the shallower, or the one with the bigger aperture. I definitely think I would just get the f2 version of it. So let me know if you want me to check out any other lenses, and I will definitely consider picking another one up and making extra reviews on them. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you would hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. The most recent video I just made actually is the one about color grading the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and this camera and the drone, DJI Mavic 2 Pro. And that was all shot on this lens, so along with the footage in this video today, you can check that one out, and it might give you an idea of what this lens would look like in a scenario like this, where it's kind of lit and it's more controlled than being outdoors. So again, like, subscribe, notification, and I'll see you in the next one.